Hello and welcome to the first episode of the LGS podcast. This is going to be something I'm going to try and do weekly, and today we have our first guest, a very dear friend of mine, and someone who's actually doing something very important and interesting at the moment, Jordan.
Hello.
How you been, man? How you been?
I'm fine. I just want you to know I practiced that intro in my head like at least 7 times, and that's the one that came out.
I mean, to be fair, I was thinking like, how am I going to intro it today? Like, how am I going to intro? I just go the LGS pod. Hey, but it's like the first episode is going to be a hey, welcome back to my channel. It's LG Skipper. It's not the same. It's just more of a chill back vibe and stuff like that. So it's interesting but yeah, so looking forward to this. If I do keep looking down, it is because I have notes on my phone of like questions and
All the prank questions
and other
down
stuff.
there.
Yeah, man. So it's just please, don't bully me. But yeah, no, Matt, how you been anyway? How you been?
Oh, I've been fine. I've just been, same old, same old. Been busy trying to do a few things and stuff. Readjusting to this whole film life, which is quite tough. But yeah, I kind of finished the big bulk of the stuff. Now it's just like I'll have one more, and then it'll be more chilled and more like being able to control my own time and stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
How are you? That's a bigger question. How are you?
Yeah, yeah, I can't complain. I'm not too bad. There's not really too much like going on. I went to. I mean, today wasn't too bad. Today was stress actually. Waited in line at the Sidemen Store today for 4 hours just to get in, bro.
Hours.
Yeah,
Why?
4 hours.
Were they there?
Yeah, so they were there, but by the time like we saw them from afar, but by the time
Yeah.
we were basically more or less not too far from going in, they had left.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's tough.
I mean, I wasn't really going there to. Like, obviously, it would have been great if I could see him, sort of thing. But at the same time, I wasn't going there just to see him. I was more or less going, okay, cool, it's a store open. I'll go buy something, sort of thing. And that's where I got this from, sort of thing. So, but yeah, it was all right. But was it worth the wait for 4 hours? No.
Was the stuff spending or not? Was it like
Oh,
average?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's money in there. It's just ridiculous. Okay, won't disclose. I mean, I only got two things anyway. But
Yeah.
how much do you reckon this cost? It's activewear. It's
I mean, like it looks like it's good material, so I'm guessing they're charging like Nike prices. So I'm guessing like somewhere between like 40 and 50.
not too bad. I mean, it's 30. It was
That's what I'm
30.
saying.
Yeah, it was 30 quid.
Oh, it's alright.
Not too bad.
That's not bad. Like in terms of like t-shirts in general, but for what I mean, like it's not bad. I don't think it's as bad as like other merch that I've seen out there. Like I've seen some ridiculous prices for merch out there, and I'm like, it don't even look good. That's the biggest problem. Like if you're gonna make merch for something, it has to look like
Good.
cold.
Yeah. No, I
That
know
was
what you
it.
mean. Yeah, because like I mean, with Sidemen now, it's not really merch. It's more like they're building a brand. It's not like back in the day where they like had hide and seek on their tops and stuff like that. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not your typical YouTube merch anymore. It's like, oh, you could actually you could just wear this, and unless you know what XIX is for the Sidemen, you're not gonna know what it. You just think it's another brand.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, also, I guess, I mean, like, in terms of fashion and stuff, I always think you gotta think, what do you want to wear? And I think that's where most merch lines kind of fall. So that looks cool. So
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
buy
yeah,
it.
I was quite happy with this. I was like, I was looking around and going, yeah, this caught my eye, and was like, yeah, okay, cool. If they got extra fat, yeah, they have, so I got it. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll get it. Got a pair of sliders as well, so it's.
What are these for the sliders, bro? You got to show them the sliders.
See, I wanted to get a black pair, but they didn't have any left in my size, so I went and got a grey pair, which, funny enough, sort of is a similar color to what I'm wearing, so it sort of worked out in the end.
To be fair, that's all right. I mean, with sliders, you kind of always running the risk of them getting mad dirty anyway. So like, great is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's not really too bad at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back now, like how long we've actually known each other for. Like, it's just hitting me, like.
Boy, wow. I mean, I am 24, so I would say at least something like 12 years.
12 years. Yeah, I was going to say somewhat young.
No, more than that, because
I'm 25. We knew each other when we went to like. When did you join? Did you join Cubs or was it Scouts you joined?
I joined Cubs,
Cubs. Did
but
we know?
I didn't know you per se. I knew like the popular people in Cubs,
Yeah.
and I joined. And then also as you go on more about the trips and stuff, then I started getting involved in the group and stuff. It would be like the everyone bring their DSs and stuff and be playing and like do all that stuff of like
Just picture chat
games.
on camps and stuff,
Oh,
man. The fucking memories. Oh, just everyone's like
listen,
in their dorms and everyone's just writing to each other on picture chat.
kids they don't understand yet because like now they got Snapchat and all this other stuff.
Mm.
Back in the day, before you had a BlackBerry, yeah, everyone had a DS. Everyone grew up on these camps because you'd be in like rooms that are relatively close, but not close enough. And obviously it'd be like dark, so you're not really supposed to be speaking across rooms and stuff. Everyone's on Picto Chat. Everyone was on Picto Chat. It was live. You'd be drawing some dumb stuff, but then also you'd be having like serious heart to hearts. At the right age of mine, it would be great.
It's so true because like what we were all like, yeah, what we must have been what. Like we were also scouts as well. Like anywhere between the ages of 11 to 14 or 15, we was like, just talking like what we thought back then was like deep. Oh my god, this girl! I like this girl. Or I don't. Oh my god, my heart breaking. All that sort of stuff. It's like over time and perspective, you look back on it and think, oh man, it's just the memories of it. It's just because man, we didn't have no Instagram or Snapchat or like anything like that to talk to each other on. It was legit just hey, yo, are you gonna jump on Picto Chat tonight? Yeah, I'll make a room.
Oh my god, no, honestly, like those are some of the best times for me though. Like thinking about going on a trip, you're going away from your parents for the weekend, you go to do mad activities. I can't swim, but we was doing kayaking. It was sick. Oh my god, do you remember Tiger?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember when they got us to stand up in the kayaks and they made us jump in them, and then everyone just sort of like fell in? I crapped myself because when I jumped, I managed to get back in my kayak, and then I tipped over in my kayak, so I was stuck underneath, panicking. I managed to like push myself out, but as I got up, I was like everything was dispersed. Everyone was just everywhere. But I've got to say, definitely some of my fondest memories and greatest childhood memories definitely do come from like the Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, Explorers, and stuff like that. Is that where we first actually met? Was it actually Cubs, Scouts? Oh my god! And obviously we went to school together.
Yeah, that was the start. There and then school, and then you decided to go to George Mitchell for some reason.
Yeah, so the reason I went George Mitchell was because like all my brothers, obviously if people didn't know, I have like 3 older brothers, and all of my brothers went to George Mitchell. Like I'm quite a few years apart, and all of them went GM. So it was destined for me to go there, sort of thing. I was going to go there, and then I want to say towards the end of year 8, a lot of stuff happened, bullying and stuff like that, and my mum just went, you know what, I've had enough, and just took me out of school. Was on a waiting list and everything, and then got into Leytonstone, and the rest is history. Made a lot of lifetime friends from Leytonstone, and it's ridiculous how long you actually stay in contact with people. And, like you think, oh yeah, we can still be friends, and then you actually are. Then you're like, it's mental.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like it's been a wild journey. But like I think we always found a way, even if we're not like constantly in contact, we always find a way to be like, yo, like how you doing? Like it's been a while. Let's meet up or let's do something.
Yeah, I mean, because life, obviously, I think everyone can vouch for that as well. Like, as in just in general with people in life, like life just does get in the way. Like everyone will say, oh, let's meet up, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it does, and I feel like, so much has happened over time that like everyone's doing different things now, like yourself, like you've now got into film and stuff like that, and it's crazy, and I want to talk more about that as well, like how you, like what made you go into film? Was it something you've always loved, or was it just something you sort of learned to love later in life, which sort of made you go, oh, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. I mean, I can go into that now. Like, I think I always had a passion for like the arts per se,
Hmm.
but I thought I was definitely when I was younger. I always thought of myself as a bit of a showman, but not quite confident enough to actually follow through with any of the stuff.
Hmm.
So I'd always like try and host like events. Like, do you remember Blast Beat? God,
Fuck off.
jeez, Blast Beat was a wild time. But like all that kind of stuff. And then as I got older, I'd always been watching films and like
Hmm.
shows and stuff. Like my passion for film changed from oh my god, I love watching films to oh, I really want to make stuff. And
Yeah.
then yeah, you know, that period between 2020 and 2022 happened, and that it's a lot of things to perspective in terms of like what is it you
Hmm.
actually want to do for the rest of your life. And then yeah, here we are.
Yeah, I feel like the pandemic and lockdown, I think that definitely made everyone, or maybe not everyone, but quite a lot of people go, all right, what is it I actually want to do? Because some people either got laid off work, some people got what was that? Was that thing called? But it wasn't laid off,
Oh,
but it
furlough.
was furloughed and stuff like that. I was
Yeah,
still working. I was still working from home in that time, so that was crazy. And yeah, it's sort of put everything into perspective for a lot of people of what do I want to do, or is this what I really want to do? I mean, I just started my job at the time, so I was just trying to focus on okay, I've just passed my probation. I need to keep doing what I'm doing, sort of thing. Just keep working, which doesn't feel real. The pandemic.
was that time like you had eat out to help out, and you had I love that time, and I also hate that time for obvious reasons. But the reason I love that time, right, is you could look on people's stories and you could tell like what where their mental state was.
Yeah,
Because you check some people's stories and they would be like constantly posting like jogging videos, and I'm like, you are like, I want to be like you. That is that is the level of dedication I want to be. And then you check other people's stories and be like, today I made this plate of food, and I'm like, you know what? I also inspired to see you because that plate looks really good. So it's cool. Like it gave people an opportunity to pick up hobbies that they wouldn't have normally done as
yeah,
well. Like, and I think, ironically, it helped me to take time away from. I mean, I was still working from home, but like it helped me to take time away from like actual work to try and connect with friends because it felt so much more important to do it then than
mm.
like before. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
How did you get into the film industry? Was it like just applying for things, or like I know I vaguely know some things, but obviously people may want to know. Well, myself and my mum.
Um, I my route to the film industry was a bit weird in terms of like it is traditional and it wasn't.
Mm,
I went through kind of the standard process of right, I really want to get into this thing. How do I do it? What is the best way for me to do it? And you go through a whole bunch of YouTube videos like you do and like Reddit posts and like, okay, cool, this is the stuff you need to do. And it kept coming back to either you don't go to film school, you buy the equipment and you shoot stuff and just figure it out from there. Which to me was interesting, but then I was also like, I genuinely don't think I know enough to do that. Because I had some experience with video editing from like my digital marketing job,
mm,
but like not enough to be like, yeah, I could shoot something, you know. Like I'd done some amateur photography as well at the time, so I kind of understood a little bit, but not enough. So I was like, oh, let me try and go film school. But then I applied to it's like Central Film School. Why am I saying I think like I don't currently attend there?
I think.
I looked at a few film schools and a lot of them were ridiculously expensive. I'm not
Oof,
gonna lie.
yeah.
Like, and some of them you can't get student finance for because they're like private institutions, but you still get the thing. Like
Mm,
Met, you can't get student finance for and stuff. And then yeah, I found this one called Central Film School, which was like basically right up my alley. It's a 2 year course, and joined there. Um, First term, kind of got to know people and stuff, and then yeah, shot a couple shorts outside of school, and yeah, now we're here.
nice. And if I'm correct in saying you're doing a short film now, right? As well.
Yeah, I am. It's the last kind of graduation project at school, so yeah, it is currently titled Wrong Place, Wrong Time.
Mm.
May change, not too sure. But
Do you,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
were to change it, do you have any idea of what you would want to change it to, or or is that something you would rather, keep on the low for now, and then obviously who knows it, because if anyone is watching, then they might think, oh, wrong place, wrong time, and they might, obviously we'll leave links in the description and stuff like that, so people can go see what it's about. Obviously, you're going to tell us what it's about as well. But
yeah.
yeah,
The title, I think, will probably stay the same. Like,
mm,
we've obviously done a bit of marketing on Instagram and stuff, so like all that stuff will stay the same. It would just might be like the end film might have a different title, but I'm not too sure yet.
mm.
But yeah, I mean, you know me, and like I sometimes share them like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
happens, but
yeah.
it would be something along
Mm.
the same line.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, because wrong place, wrong time. That could mean 100 different things to do with lots of different things. But I understand by reading the if I'm gonna get this wrong now, but you can correct me if I haven't got this wrong. It's about a young guy trying to make it as a basketballer, and he basically gets racially profiled by police, and it's
Yeah,
basically tackles that angle that from that side. I know I've said it like in probably the worst way possible in describing it, but is that more or less along the lines? And can you add on to that?
yeah, it's more or less along the lines. I mean, it's like a little bit of a microcosm of. Actually, no, that's not the right word. I think I'd say more like it's more of a creative look on a situation that actually happened to me
Okay.
in like my life,
Hmm.
which I know is a little bit like, ooh, it's arms and
No.
it's
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
very pretentious. No, but like I just feel most of the projects I'm involved
Hmm.
in terms of like film, especially ones that I'm like in a head of department kind of role, and needs to, for me anyway, needs to like have an impact on me, whether that's like I believe solely in the director's vision for something, or I feel like the impact of this media, whether it's like a film or a TV show or something that is going to be like really impactful, then
Hmm.
those are the kind of things I tend to be involved in, just because like I always like giving a voice to everyone who needs it. So
Hmm.
yeah, and this story is kind of my way of my view on um, on the relations between like police and young people, and specifically like young black people as well. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, story kind of follows my journey to kind of processing that and stuff. So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, so like,
but,
because obviously you're speaking up, obviously from personal experience
yeah.
and stuff like that. How long ago did that happen? Do you have like a memory? Like, was it like a recent thing, or was it like a good like 5, 10 years ago? I know you still play basketball, is the reason I'm asking and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it happened. So this specific incident happened like 6 years ago, I'd say. Like,
Mm.
I was still in LS at the time. No,
Yeah.
not
Oh,
what? Yeah,
oh yeah. I was like, we weren't in school 6 years
yeah.
ago.
No. I was still like I was still in Leytonstone at the time.
Yeah.
From work, I was working in. I think I was working in Hodgson them times, but yeah, I was on my way home from work, and I'd go out of the train station, and two people basically tried to mug me, and fortunately, it was in quite like a public area, so they didn't
Mm.
really get anything from me. And then I walked away, and literally like 5 minutes down the road, police officer stopped me, started searching, basically asking me like, were you involved in this, and are you look kind of suspicious and stuff? And I'm like, well, I've literally come back from work. Like, I know I'm not wearing a suit, but
Yeah.
it's not a suit type of job. But it
Yeah.
was just crazy to me because for those are the people that are basically supposed to protect you and stuff, and for me to have just come from like a semi-traumatic event to basically go into another semi-traumatic event
Mm.
is was a lot. And like me personally, I've been stopped search like 14 times now. So
Oh wow. So yeah, a fair bit.
by that time, I think that was the ninth search, ninth or
Mm.
10th, because I know I've been stopped search since the protests and stuff.
I was gonna say, with the
So
stop and searches, did you think at any point any of them were warranted, or did you think every single one of them was like, oh, they're doing this because of how I look, sort of thing?
I think it's always a bit of a tricky one because, from my perspective, I'm always going to say no because I don't think I was of any of the stuff search. I don't think I ever was like even anywhere near anything that could potentially get me in trouble. Like, but on the flip side of that, I understand that some of the areas that I was in during those searches did have stuff going on quite regularly, and maybe the times that I was like traveling, those were like the hotspot times. So I understand to that level of it, but like I feel like it's just borderline lazy. Like, oh, things are happening. I know it might be someone that looks a little bit like you, and yeah, so we're gonna stop searching stuff. And I remember my first one, and like a lot of people can probably relate to this, like that with stop search stuff. I remember my first one, and it's like I never knew what like rights I had in that moment. It was just like the police would come up to you and said, look, we need to search you because XYZ's happened. Like, or like an Act 30 or section whatever, basically saying like, sorry, whatever, saying like, something, an instance occurred in the area, there's a description of blah, 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 you're in this area, and it happened very recently, we're going to stop and search and stuff. And like, you know, I'm like 14, 15 these times. I don't fully understand what's happening. I just know that these are police officers. I'm just going to listen to what they say and stuff. And like, it wasn't an aggressive search, but anyone that's been searched before can tell you like that feeling of doing that, it just strips you of like so much of your like not even pride, it's just like your sense of
like
self.
Being a human being sort of thing, like, oh, I'm just being treated like just like a bit of like crap sort of thing, like, oh, this, like, you're doing this now sort of thing, like you don't really feel like you had any respect or anything in that moment in time. It wasn't a discussion, it was like, even though you've done nothing wrong, you're completely innocent in the scenario. So therefore you must be, especially at that age, obviously your brain is still massively developing and everything. So I can't imagine what thought process must have been going through your mind at that age of like, I'm a good kid, I've done nothing wrong, why is this happening to me, sort of thing.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, like I understand, by that point I understood that these things happen and stuff, especially because we had the Tottenham riots like a couple of years before then. So like I knew that this wasn't, you know what I mean, this is something that happens all around and stuff. But I never knew that, you know what I mean, I thought it happens, but it's never happened to me, like it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I always thought it was more just a case of like, I thought as soon as I got in that situation for the first time, I'd be like, yeah, I'll be fine. I know I'll deal with it and it'll be cool. But then when it actually came through, it's just like, wow. And for me now, especially like the ones that ensued and stuff, it was never like the act of the search. It's the people walking past. That's what always like
Got you, yeah.
rattles me a little bit, because it's like, even if you haven't done anything, just the fact that the police are stopping the search and you makes it look like you have not done something. So now you're getting that 30 looks on the way back. You've got people staring at the window. Like I remember one time I had like people, while I was getting like search and stuff, I had like people at the window basically like looking, and I'm like, I don't know if you're looking to make sure that I'm fine or you're looking to just be nosy, or like it's just a lot of things kind of play into that kind of thing, and it does mess with your psyche a little bit, because I remember like after that first one, like I went back to my foster parents and I told them basically what happened. I said, look, because I was late. I was late home. You know, I was late home. You know what foster parents are about like that time. Yeah, long. So I got back, got a bollocking, and said, look, what happened? Why did you late? And I told them what happened, and then there's just like silence. And it's like, oh, and then, you know, we had the talk. Now, the talk for most people is to talk about like the birds and bees and stuff.
yeah.
It's like an awkward talk, but it's a funny talk. You know,
Yeah.
you come out of that, you're like, okay, cool. Like, your mom's trying to tell you about the birds and bees, and you full well know you've seen some things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like you're telling me stuff I already know. I don't need to know this, but like, then I had this talk. And I think this is a talk that a lot of black kids growing up, definitely of my era and the era before, I've had, of just like, people are going to treat you differently. That is, certain spaces you're going to get treated differently. And for me at that point in my life, I was like, I don't fully understand why.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the history behind it, and I understand how that potentially could have carried forward, but I always was a little bit like trying to give a benefit of doubt, thinking like, oh, maybe it's not like as it won't be as wide kind of thing. Like, it won't
Yeah.
be so random kind of thing. And then as I got older, more things happened, and I understood it more. And yeah,
I was gonna say exactly what you said. I know I'm looking at this from a completely different angle, so do forgive me for my ignorance. Because what you said sparked a memory in my head. Nothing to do with me. Of a show I love, and I know a show of a lot of people love, and that show is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And it is the scene where Carlton he's driving along with Will, and like a really nice car. He's driving his car up to his dad and everything, Philip Banks and that. And then the police stop him because he's driving too slow. And Will knows exactly why they've been pulled over, but Carlton at the end of the episode is like, oh, it's I was only driving slow, and oh no, if I was a police officer, I would stop a car for being too slow. He's battered because that's the first time he's properly dealt with something like that and sort of thing. So it's like, I mean, I've never had to have that talk. I've been very lucky. Obviously, I've dealt with other things to do, because obviously living in the area I live in, it's not a good area. I can't wait to get out of this area, sort of thing. It's pain. I mean, it is. I think I've probably told you many times that I've been like nearly mugged or other things and mugged, stuff like that, so many times. So it's and it still happens. Like, it's only a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, something else happened, and it's just like, well, pain. Like, you just sort of get on with it and get used to it, which is not the correct thing to say. And it's the same thing going back to you. It's the fact that in a way you're becoming numb to it and used to it is not right, if that makes sense. Like, it's not right. It's not something you should get used to, and it's not okay.
No, of course. Like,
I mean, because obviously, and obviously with the short film, which I actually, when it gets done, I've sent you a message ages ago, like saying, oh, let me know when it gets done, because I want to watch it, so just send me a link whenever it's done, sort of thing. So when this gets done, I'm hoping that it will be able to maybe shine a light in a different way for a lot of people, dealing with anything to do with the police. This could resonate with a lot of different people, and hopefully it portrays the what's the correct, maybe like on the outside it's you get a positive message from a negative thing, if that makes sense, because obviously it's not great what's happening, but at the same time you can get a positive message from it of, okay, what can we learn and go forward and so on.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I think the aim of the film for me and the message of the film has always been like, there's a very famous writer and obviously civil rights activist who has passed away now, called James Baldwin.
Okay.
And one of the best quotes I always say to me in memory is like, he says the line, nothing that isn't faced can be changed, and nothing can't be changed without being faced. And that, to me, for this situation, is like, I know we've obviously had the process and stuff. I'm very happy that those happened, and I think it spread awareness at a level that I don't think we've had in the UK for a very long time. And it was like a massive wake up call, kind of. Although I don't agree with some of the things in the process, but that's, I mean.
I was going to say, I feel like every group who probably protest, whether it's BLM or another group, another whatever group, you can think of probably loads. There are always going to be things you're going to agree with and disagree with. I feel like if you agree with something 100% in every little detail, there's something wrong, because you can't. You're going to come up with disagreements and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's just the only thing that I didn't agree with in terms of like the methodology was the black boxes on Instagram.
I saw so many people doing that. I just looked at it and went, okay, but what? It's not doing anything. Like, it's just.
Yeah, it was just more like, it's counterproductive. I think that's what my issue was. It was like, black people need a voice, we need to speak up and all this stuff. All right, cool. How are we going to speak up? By saying nothing. It's like, you have everyone put in black boxes.
Yeah.
It's like, it got to a point where obviously people were just putting it up as a sake of, right, I'm just gonna put it up.
Mm.
And I understand why it happens with a lot of like movements and stuff. And I mean, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. Like, I only post stuff on my story if I'm actively trying to do something to aid that situation or stuff like that. But like, I always thought the black box thing was weird to me because it's like you're almost silencing yourself by putting the black box up. And I get like, oh, a wave of black boxes is gonna be like this thing, and it's like you're literally showing man a blank screen. It's like,
I mean, it's it became a trend, really.
yeah,
Like that's what
yeah,
it is, and that can be a problem with a lot of things. Like with the same thing, which I think the stuff which was happening in France years ago, and everyone was having the French flag on their profile picture and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It's yes, it can be like, oh, okay, if someone doesn't know what it means, but someone can come across it and go, oh, why are they doing this? That could lead them on to whatever path. But more often than not, it's just people going, oh, I'll do it because I'll be a part of the crowd. It's not really, no one's doing it for the right or the correct reason, sort of thing.
yeah. I think it was an opportunity for employers to kind of like show support without really having to do anything, because it was like, oh, well,
yeah, that's done.
beat that fist, bow, yes, there we go, more walking, yep, bow. We're not racist, guys, I promise. If you look in our like department, you can see we have Toby over there. Toby may be the only black person there, but Toby's there.
The token,
can't be
token black guy in it.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
but I think
South Park did that. Have you seen that?
yeah,
Because obviously the whole time it was Token, and then they've changed it to Tolkien, which is the author of the Lord of the Rings and everything. But if you look in the subtitles, they went back and changed the old episodes, so it's Tolkien, which is. But yeah, oh my god, yeah. Sorry, just reminded. My mind will just go off in tangents and just.
That is, yeah, it's literally crazy because South Park manages to, and there are so many things right.
Yeah.
Because they put so many lines, it's like there's no like off balance. They don't care. It's whatever. So yeah, well, I know that I'm also not ignorant of other situations that occur in terms of like diversity and representation and stuff, and like this ongoing fight for equality and stuff. So yeah, I just think that this film is a great opportunity to kind of reopen that conversation of like, yes, police officers are doing a lot better now in terms of trying to open a dialogue with young people and work out what the disconnect is. And I'm also not being ignorant of the issues within our own community and stuff like that. Like there's still a lot of black and white crime and those kind of things still run rampant and stuff. I'm not ignorant of that, but I'm also saying like there are people in positions that should be helping and they're not. They're almost using that power and stuff. Like the police is the biggest gang in the UK, and I think that's like that's an issue. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from. That's why I do. But yeah. So.
So it's really good. That's what I mean. It's really good to get another insight of the film and that, because obviously I did watch. I think I watched a few of the videos. I'm not going to say all. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'd watched a few of the videos of like the little mini interviews on the Instagram. On the Instagram. I sound so old. On Instagram.
On the Instagram.
On the Instagram.
Like this.
Yeah, he's doing that. But no.
I like it.
Because I watched them, obviously when I saw you go on it, I was like, okay, obviously I'm watching that one because it's you. And you said some of the similar things, but obviously here you've gone into a lot more detail about other things as well. When it comes to like obviously maybe going on to a lighter topic, but within the same realm, going into I've lost my words. But yeah, so what sort of challenges in filming, like with like maybe finding places to film, actors, actresses, that sort of stuff? Do you come up against like a lot of challenges or a lot of like stop points where it's like everything's going smooth and then it's bang, or is it like very jaggedy all the time?
I would say making a film is a lot closer to running a football team than I thought. So like to starting off a football team, and I'll tell you why. So you start off with you're getting your team together. So got your trying to get your producer in, you're trying to get your DOP and all this stuff. You're trying to get like the core members in, and get them like locked in and right, here's the vision, here's how I'm gonna do it. Then like any faulty, you have clashes, you have differences in opinions. We should do this, we should do that. Cool. You got to work through that first. You got to understand, especially if you're working with people that you haven't worked with before. You got to go through the process of like, right, okay, what are your boundaries, or like, what is the best way for us to kind of communicate and stuff. So like for me, I'm very much I will ask you once, and if you don't do it, I will do it myself. And that you can't do that in certain spaces.
Yeah.
Because it kind of comes across as like you're trying to overstep your, you know, you're trying to overstep your role and stuff, and then that comes up with us. So like that's something that I've had to learn during this process. So then there's that. Then you work that out, and you kind of, you know, you're all singing to the same tune, you're all rapping along to your favorite song, and that's all cool. And then you try and get locations, and oh my god, getting locations for this thing, right, is a bit of a nightmare because you can't technically shoot a film on the street without getting a permit. However, there's some like loopholes to that. So if you don't have a tripod, technically you can say you're filming like social media content and no one can really stop you. So obviously we wanted to try and use that, but it's a bit tricky because we gotta put up lights and stuff, and it gets a bit weird in that regard. But yeah, so bit of a nightmare in terms of that. And then, you know, you get through to your locations, then you go to casting. We had like 6 days worth of casting because like the main, like it was just the main character. I could not find the guy that was doing it. And then it was literally the guy will tell you literally the last day of casting, the guy didn't even come in for the role. And he came in and I was like, you are absolutely the guy. So I let him read in for the main role, and then lots him in from there. But like some of the other people I knew basically as soon as they came in, I was like, yeah, you're absolutely the best. Like for one of the police officer roles, literally walked in and I was like, yeah, it's absolutely the guy. Like we had 10 other people kind of going for the role and stuff, and they all performed really well, but they just didn't quite have the pull that the person that we cast in that role did. So yeah, you go through casting, you go through all that kind of stuff, then you go through more like pre-production in terms of like how are we gonna light the space, how are we gonna feed the crew. Oh my gosh, feeding people is so damn difficult. Why? Why is this so difficult?
Because there's so many different things now, like whether it's like vegetarian, vegan, or you know being halal, or just some people are not wanting to eat certain things, or allergies, and then obviously you've got people who will just want to eat anything and everything. It's very hard. I can imagine it's very hard to try and please everyone with you know. And I didn't even pop into my head about feeding the crew. Like that didn't even cross my mind.
It honestly, like I thought in my mind, I'm like, I've been on film sets before, and feeding people didn't seem that difficult. Like, if anyone's gonna go into a film thing, and they know it's like student level or like short level or below, you know it's pizza. Like that's all you're getting. It's pizza or it's something of that vein. You're not gonna get anything that's like mad bespoke. You're not getting like gourmet meals. You know it's gonna be pizza when it comes to
like, I have a steak now.
Oh my god, there will be that one person. Like I was on a set the other day and we was all eating like pasta and like a relatively healthy meal for a film set. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is welcome. My gosh, yes, please. Some dude was complaining. They're like, oh my god, man, I want a burger. And I'm like, you can get the burger, but like, where are you getting this burger from? Because we have 45 minutes or so for lunch. The time it's going to take you to go to the nearest place you can get a burger is going to be like half an hour. Maths ain't maths. Like you can't do that. But yeah, you gotta deal with that stuff. You gotta make sure the snacks on deck. You gotta make sure it's coffee, because just like a football team or just like any kind of team, if people are not fed, no one wants to do anything. So yeah, I had gone through those kind of things, and there's just more like planning because you just don't know what's gonna happen or like any kind of things that might go wrong in pre-production up to the day that you're about to shoot. Like locations are the worst for that. They'll wait until like the day before you're going to shoot and be like, yeah, so about that space that you said you can have for the day, you that.
I was gonna say, surely there should be something which can stop people from cancelling like within 24 hours. Like surely is there not like a thing where it's like, oh, okay, we've booked this for, let's say, I don't know, you booked, I don't know, a hall for 12 p.m. till 6 p.m., just say hypothetically, and then they message you 5 p.m. the day before and go, oh yeah, by the way, you can't have that anymore. Like, surely is there not something which you can protect yourselves from that from happening?
It's a bit of a tricky one. So yes and no. So yes, because you can obviously make a contract for the location and stuff like that, and then they sign it and everything's all cool. However, for most of the locations, like especially at student level, where the budget's not necessarily massive, a lot of the location deals that you're doing are like kind of handshake deals.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, what I mean, we'll give you this little sign, and then we'll get something in writing to kind of confirm that this is exactly what's going to happen, but not like a full-on contract.
Yeah.
So, but you do that because it makes it cheaper. Like,
yeah, of course.
People have their location stuff on all these like location sites, and they'll be charging like £500 for like an hour or something. And then you go to the place and be like, look, here's the deal, here's the film. Really love this space, but I'd absolutely love to use it for this. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I understand. Like, you're this, you're that, and then they're trying to accommodate and stuff. But yeah, film is like a mad unpredictable thing. Is what I've realized, and it's quite different from where I came from, which is very much like you could control a lot of things, but like film is so volatile.
Yeah, it's like not a lot is in your control. But yeah, well, I can't wait to watch it when it does come out. I have a last question on the film stuff though. Do you have a date in mind of when you would like to have everything wrapped up and released, or is it very much just play it by ear at the moment?
We'll probably have everything wrapped released by like December.
Oh, nice.
And that's in the year. Well, yeah, because I officially finish film school in December, and we have like a quote unquote graduation screening at the BFI. So it will be then, and then once it's done there, we probably put it through to some film festivals by that point.
Oh, nice.
Then we release it on like YouTube or Vimeo, depending on like which has the better thing, and then go from there. On to the next one.
Oh, great! Well, once again, can't wait to watch it when it does come out, and once again, I'll leave anything down below, so make sure you go check that out. And speaking of wrong place, wrong time, and you were talking about football, managing a football team. Me and you are going to watch Tottenham home in their new stadium at some time. I'm not going to specify when, but we will be going to watch them in the stadium. And the reason why it is wrong place, wrong time is, what team do you support, Jordan?
I am an Arsenal fan.
Well, there you go.
I'm going there with natural born hate in my system. I'm going there and I would not lose.
No. What do you mean? Let's not do this. Yeah. But people may be wondering why I'm taking an Arsenal fan to a Tottenham game, and main reason is because my first ever Tottenham game when I went to watch them at White Hart Lane against Fiorentina is that I took you. So I thought it'd be a nice way to be like, hey, come back and let's go to another Tottenham game together and we'll watch it in the new stadium, And I mean, I can't wait. Obviously, from a Tottenham fan perspective, I'm a big Tottenham fan and you're a big old Arsenal fan. But how big of an Arsenal fan what would you say are you? Would you say like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like you're amazing, whatever your best Arsenal fan there is, or 1 being you know nothing about the club or anything?
I'd say realistically, I can't say 10, otherwise I wouldn't be going.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Like I can't say 10, so but I would say like a good 8 or 9 because like I've supported them since I was young. I've never supported any other club. Like I grew up with the team. I grew up on Henry. Like that's why I got into Arsenal and kind of football in general. Like that's not my primary sport. I'm more of a basketball fan. Like Arsenal, my team.
Yeah, we've seen your skills.
Let's not talk about that video. Right? I said I wanted to get like, what did I say, 15, and I got like 7.
It's like something like that. And one of them I wasn't looking. You passed it into the net. I was sorting out the GoPro.
That's your fault.
Nah.
I was keeping not ready.
Oh,
sorry.
Screw you.
Just sort my GoPro 1 second. Like, what? That's not my fault.
There's bad blood already. But I mean that's never. I mean as much as I am a Tottenham fan, I'd like to say through and through, a lot of people will argue against that because I don't I've never disliked Arsenal. As a Tottenham fan saying that, it probably can sound weird to a lot of people. Mainly, I'm more of a football fan. I love watching football. I love everything about football. You know, my family are very split in teams. Like, we have Tottenham, we have Arsenal, we have West Ham, we have Chelsea, we have Wolves. You know, we have lots of different teams in the family. And I am very much an advocate of I'll wear whatever football shirt I want. I'll never wear an Arsenal shirt. You'll never catch me in an Arsenal shirt unless... And the only time I'll ever do this is like if it's like, you know, especially like if I'm like if it's like a bet I lose, you know, stuff like that. You know, only those certain circumstances. But you know, I'm not going to go buy an Arsenal shirt. But I do have a Chelsea shirt, Wolves shirt, West Ham, Orient, you know, another team, Dortmund, stuff like that. So yeah, but let's see how good of an Arsenal fan you are. I have 10 questions prepared for you.
I'm ready.
And some of them are very, very easy, I would say, and some of them are probably a bit harder than, you know, we'll find out. But all right,
just get my keys.
No, wait. All right, first question is about probably let's probably agree you're probably your greatest manager, Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
How long did Arsene Wenger manage Arsenal in years, not seasons, years?
I wanna say like 12, 13, because I feel like he was there. He's definitely there early 2000s. Because he bought.
Do you mean to give you a multiple choice?
Oh, give me multiple. Yeah, give me multiple choice.
Okay. 15.
If none of them are 13, I would have been fucked. All right, cool. That's good.
15.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
22. You're just so good. 13, 14. It's not there.
Let me think. So, 98, I think he was there.
When did he leave?
I'm going to say 22. I'm going to say 22.
22 years is correct. Bro was going to say 13. I don't know how I feel about it.
Do you know what it is, right? I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you why I was initially going to say 30. Because in my head, right, I just remember the good times. Remember with all the banners and Wenger? I don't remember. Yeah, I was like...
Wenger out.
Yeah. He was there for ages. I think he's, you know what I mean, he's got us Premier League. He's got, you know what I mean, he's got league titles. He's got us a lot of FA Cups. That's not what he didn't get us the Champions League.
Never.
He was a Barcelona away from getting that Champions League. That
Never.
one time.
Never. All right. There you go. This is not multiple choice, but the others are.
Okay, fair.
Who is Arsenal's all-time top goal scorer?
No. Oh, okay.
All-time top goal, not all-time.
Can I just say Henri because he was the best? Wait, hang on. Let me actually think about this.
Who do you actually want to say? You can say Henri if you want. Might be right. Might be wrong.
Because we had Tony Adams, right?
Bro, I don't know your team.
Ian Wright.
You're going with Ian Wright?
I'm going with Ian Wright.
Final answer?
That's my final answer.
It was Thierry Henry. You should have gone with your first answer. Oh, disclaimer: these are answers I have got off Google and Arsenal fact websites. So if any of these are wrong, it's not me.
Was Ian Wright top 3 at least? Because
I think Ian Wright, I believe, was top 3. But yeah, Thierry Henry was the most. And you're about to guess how many goals he scored. Don't worry, these are multiple choice. All these are multiple choice now. So
okay,
how many goals did Thierry Henry score? Was it 200, 228, 235, or 220? I believe this is just all time. This is not like Premier League, just Premier League. This is like just in general, like over his course at Arsenal.
You say 228? That sounds like
228, 235, or 220.
228?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Nice, I'll take that. Huge dub.
Huge dub. A lot of goals. Not as good as Harry Kane. But anyway, when was...
Whoa. Harry Kane. Isn't he going freaking Bayern Munich? What's happening?
I hope not. But you know what? We'll get into Harry Kane and that after these questions because that's pain. When was Arsenal founded? Was it 1896, 1886, or 1906? Tensions are high.
86, and it was funded by like a group of munitions workers. I remember that. That's why we ended up getting called the Gunners.
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. I didn't put that Gunners question in here though. I nearly did.
Well, I know that off my head because like that's why it was called the Gunners.
Let's see if you get this then. What was the initial name of Arsenal when it was first founded? Was it?
Fuck. Wait, I'm not getting that.
Was it Dial Square, Full Circle, or Holy Triangle?
Holy Triangle sounds like some BS. So
These are not names I thought of. These are just in. This was in the question. I didn't just go Holy Triangle.
What was the first two options again?
Dial Square or Full Circle. This is when it was first founded.
I mean, I don't
know
what it is, so I'm gonna say like Dial Square. Like that sounds interesting.
It's correct.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm reading that right now. I just guessed that.
Yeah. It was Dial Square. I'm not too sure, but it was when it was first founded. It was Dial Square.
Mad.
Yeah, like these little facts I've thrown in here. Yeah.
Dial Square to North London. Oh, it was a reference to the sun dial at the top of the factory.
Yeah, I don't have why, right? I didn't go that deep down the rabbit hole.
Oh no, we're in there now. That's sick. Good to know. You learn more. The more you know.
Exactly. There you go. I'm making you a better Arsenal fan, if anything, which is probably not what I want. How many league titles have Arsenal won? Since this is up to 2021. I know you haven't won a league title after that, but this is up to 2021. So 10, 13, or 19?
We haven't won one since. Did we win one after the Invincible season? I don't think we did.
Don't know, Jeff.
Or did we? I'm gonna say 13.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding. You're doing well. You're doing really well so far. I've just dropped the bottle on the floor, but we move.
Just before anyone accuse me of anything, I'm playing with blue tack.
Yeah, everyone's just on his phone like, oh, wow, yeah.
Like, oh, it's crazy. Let me just stand up and show that. Look.
Wait, whoa, no one to see that. First, okay, we've got 4 questions left. This is question 6. First, who was the first Premier League match of Arsenal? Who were they playing against? Was it West Ham United, Norwich City, or Tottenham Hotspurs?
West Ham?
Incorrect.
It's
Norwich. Norwich City was your first game in the Premier League when it became the Premier League.
Where are they now?
Where are they now?
Yeah, where
are they? Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get that one right.
Oh my days. Sorry, side note before you go on to the next question. Do you remember that season when Norwich came up and Timu Puki bagging non-stop for like a month?
Ridiculous. That man was a machine.
He was. I was like, where did he come from?
He still got relegated as well, I think, which was kind of insane.
Yeah, because he stopped scoring. Like, literally, he did what? Oh, who did that this season? Who was bagging out?
Mitrovic.
Oh my God, Mitrovic.
Mitrovic was banging him in, and then all of a sudden he just dropped off towards the end again.
Oh, do you know who else? Almiron.
Oh my God, yeah, Miggy Almiron.
There was a period of time, right? He was approaching his 10 goals. And everyone was like, this guy was the best for since sliced bread. I don't know where he came from. He was sick. And then he dropped off the face of the planet.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know what happened to him.
But Newcastle themselves have had a fantastic season.
Oh, yeah. They've done absolutely unreal.
And then now they got that money. So
that real money.
That real money. Like, Tonali's out there now. So that team's been very interesting.
It's ridiculous. I feel sorry for him, though. He's gone all the way from, beautiful AC Milan to Newcastle.
I tell you what, though, if they start doing better, Newcastle will be...
Oh, yeah. Newcastle will be looking good.
Feel for it.
Question 8.
Yes.
Who was the youngest goal scorer for Arsenal at aged 16? Was it Jack Wilshere,
Yeah.
Aaron Ramsey, or Cesc Fabregas?
Wilshere. I'm saying Wilshere.
Answer is Cesc Fabregas.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man.
Damn. I would have said, you know, I thought Wilshere because in my head I'm like, this guy peaked when he was like 20.
He peaked young. That's mad.
It was injuries. I think it's just injuries, and then he obviously was smoking. That like,
is he retired now? He is retired, right?
I think he's retired. Like, I think he's coaching now. He might be coaching.
I've no idea.
He's coaching,
right.
but no, generally he scored. I think probably one of the best goals in Arsenal history.
Oh, like when they're flicking about, and that goal is so beautiful to watch. It's absolutely amazing. All right, Arsenal's biggest win. It's not a team. I don't have the team. He didn't give me the team. It's just scoreline. Arsenal's biggest win, was it 7-2, 9-3, or 11-1?
7.
7-2?
Yeah,
Final
I don't think
answer?
I've never seen Arsenal score more than 10 goals. There's no way. 7. I'm saying 7.
It was 11-1.
When was that?
I don't know. I don't have the stats. I just had the score.
Nah, all right, nah. We're googling that. There's no way.
We'll fact check it. The website could have lied to me, but it was down as 11-1. But I don't know who it was against. I didn't have the team, but it was down as 11-1. What should be some friendly against some nothing team?
See, look, it's even that thing's even lying. Our biggest win was 12-0 against Loughborough back in.
There you go. All the answers are wrong. You were never getting it right. If you said 11-1, I would have given you the 12-0 one. I would have given you that.
So you got 7-0 against Slavia Prague, 7-0 against Standard. See, look, this is what I thought. Oh, here it is, 11-1 against Darwin.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 11-1.
It was an FA Cup tie. I can tell you the biggest loss. That's fucking easy.
Don't worry, I don't have that. It's the last question X. Last question X, and it's the easy. I would say it's the easiest question of the bunch.
Okay.
Who is Arsenal's biggest rival?
You know what? It's got to be. Let's actually think logistically here. It has to be Barcelona.
No.
No, of course it's Spurs, man.
No. Yeah, of course it's Tottenham. But yeah, I had to throw that one in there. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions out of 10 correct.
I'll take that.
More than half. And some of the questions were like, if you stuck with Thierry Henry, you would have had 7. Obviously, the other ones were like Norwich City, Cesc Fabregas, and 11-1. So, yeah. I mean, that's not bad at all. I would say I'd be happy with more than. It's more than half. Yeah, that's a pass. I'd say
the Henry one is bad. That I should have got that one. That was poor. That was poor. That one I should have got for sure.
Right.
For sure.
I know Tottenham's top goal scorer is Harry Kane. It's now Harry Kane. So,
what year did Tottenham last win something?
2008, 2009, or 2007, 2008. We won the Carling Cup against Chelsea. Jonathan Woodgate header.
What happened to the Carling Cup? What the hell? Why is it not Carling Cup?
Because I think it's just. Is Carabao is that an alcohol? Because wasn't it
the
whole thing back against Albert changing the name because of alcohol? Or was it just a sponsor? I think it's just a sponsor.
Carabao is an energy drink now.
Yeah, because it's EFL. Because some people just call it EFL Cup, English.
English Football League Cup.
English Football League Cup, but yeah, it's Carabao. I think I still call it Carabao, but I think it actually is just an EFL Cup now. Yeah. But yeah, I think they just changed it. I think it just goes on whoever's sponsoring it. I think that's what it was because it was Carling Cup because obviously Carling was always forever sponsoring it. It's when the last time. Well, no, if you count the Audi Cup, but it's the last time Tottenham won an actual trophy was that season against Chelsea. I remember watching that game as well as a kid. So I actually have a memory of Tottenham lifting a trophy in my lifetime, thankfully.
You personally won the league before Tottenham did.
What? Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, let's not do that. Tottenham actually have won 2 leagues before, but I don't think they were known as the Premier League then. I don't think.
It's
but
like
they have won 2 leagues.
It's back when not was so amazing.
We're we've already got a European trophy, so that's what
that is true.
What I'm saying.
That is true. Oh, I'm gonna be so happy when Harry Kane goes to join Bayern Munich. You don't understand. It's
The
gonna
thing
be
is,
fun.
I don't, as much as, you know, I love Harry Kane and that, I don't see him joining Bayern, considering, only reason being, at the moment, is because he's only 47 goals away from breaking Shearer's record.
Yeah.
So I really don't see him going abroad until he breaks that record. I think he'll do one more season at Tottenham. I don't think he'll sign a contract. I think he'll play out and leave. He will let him go for free because, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care about that. I mean, I'd love Harry Kane to stay, but you know, I reckon he'll see the rest of his season out at Tottenham, and then if we don't win anything, which probably won't, but if we don't win anything or don't get into the Champions League, he won't sign a new contract, and he'll go to somewhere like United on a free, and then he'll break the record there, sort of thing, which I will be pissed off about because I was like, bro, you did all but everyone knows he did all his work, at Tottenham anyway, so
that would burn my soul. Like it just feels wrong. You've done all the hard stuff there, and then you're gonna go and get an easy ride. Which I mean, maybe it might not be an easy ride in 2 years' time. Maybe
I mean,
not.
I don't know. I mean, do you think? I was gonna say because a lot of people have the debate of, oh, Harry Kane's not one of the greatest strikers in the Premier League because he hasn't won a trophy. Do you think trophies make a player the greatest player, or is it what they do in the game?
I mean, I have these arguments all the time in like basketball and stuff, and I always say the same thing. You only talk about trophies when it comes to the top echelon talent. Like you're not talking about Tom Huddlestone versus Coquelin. Like we're not talking about that. We're talking about Harry Kane in comparison to like Henry and top strikers in the league. That's different. He's already in that category.
Yeah.
Whether you say he's the best goal scorer or not, I don't know.
That could be up for debate. Yeah.
That's a different question. But like, he's definitely one of the best goal scorers that we've seen touch the Prem at least, and definitely like a world class striker.
I mean,
you can't. I mean,
I was gonna say he would. There's not a team in the world Harry Kane doesn't get into and start.
No.
Like there's every team you put him in, he starts. Like every time. If he's not injured, every time he starts. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I love Harry Kane. I'd hate to see him go, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if he went because I want to see him lift the bloody trophy.
Yeah.
I think I said this, when we all last played football together, I remember saying it would be, obviously it's not typical because last time Tottenham won a trophy was 2007, 2008, but I wouldn't put it past something like Tottenham finally win a trophy when Harry Kane leaves. And and it will be like, okay, well, what kind of BS is that, Tottenham?
Gosh, I mean, Harry Kane is a world class striker, undoubtedly. Like his play style, his ability to just bring other people into play as well. Like you see him drop to basically where the cam is, play Son or play, you know what I mean, Lucas Moura or whoever it is that's out there, and then he's in there to finish off the play as well. Like he's just one of the best strikers I've seen.
Even like because I find it mental how Tottenham haven't won a trophy with Kane and Son there, because they've broken the duo record of the amount of goals and assists between them, sort of thing as well in the Premier League, which is ridiculous when you think about it. And Tottenham have not won a trophy in that time, and you know it breaks my heart being a Tottenham fan. You know, I always say it's pain, and Leighton Orient's my main team. No, Tottenham's always my main team, but you know, it's just, you know, like Tottenham Arsenal is always going to have that rivalry, and yeah, realistically, Arsenal have the much far better trophy cabinet than Tottenham, especially even in recent times as well. Cause, you know, I'm so sure that you have won a trophy more recently than us. It probably would have been an FA Cup.
One of them, it would be the run of FA Cup that we got, definitely.
So, you know,
Aubameyang's
big old Aubameyang. But oh man, my colleague at work calls Jeremy Aubameyang because of his hairline.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, it's so bad. I was like, oh no, how have you done this? But
that's mean. Jeremy, I'm so sorry.
Poor Jeremy, man. He's on next episode. You lot will see it then. You know, bring him back. You know, you got to have something to bring him back.
He's gonna wear a hat.
No. He's not watching this. It's fine. This won't be out before he does the thing, so you won't know.
Fair.
Yeah, how do you think, in all honesty, how do you think Arsenal season go this year? Because obviously you've got Champions League as well. So you've brought in some players, but I don't think you've brought in enough players for squad depth at the moment. I know you brought in Rice, you brought in
Ember.
huh? Oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, and I think you're bringing in one more dude, or you already have brought in one more guy. I think.
I think we have brought in one more guy. I think we'll bring in maybe one more. We're looking at DRB at the moment. Hoping that goes through. But like, how will it go? I think, depending on the draw of Champions League, because we always get shed. Like,
Barcelona straight away.
Do you know what? I'd have Barcelona now. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I know they won the league and stuff. I think it would be a better game than people give us credit for now, especially. But we'll get like Real Madrid. Like, we'll get like the group of death, or we'll get through our group stage and then instantly Real Madrid.
You're gonna have Madrid, Bayern, and PSG. Arsenal. Gosh. Group of death.
No, but I think we'll do about equal to what we did this season. I think we did let Europa slip slightly, if I'm honest. I think we could have gone a little bit further than that. We just got unfortunate with like injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I think we definitely can match what we did before, because if we keep everyone fit, we lost Tommy quite early on. We lost Saliba. It was all a bit tricky. We lost Jesus basically as soon as we started to perform. But we got him. We got Nketiah still about. Martinelli's coming back. Saka's obviously doing the thing. ESR's had a good Euros. He's back to firing. So like, I mean, we have some depth, just not as much as I personally want. I want a little bit. Because we're gonna lose Xhaka.
Oh yeah, well, he's already gone, Xhaka.
Yeah. So it's like.
Do you think, like realistically, do you think Arsenal will win the league this year?
No, I think realistically, I'd love for that to happen.
Oh yeah.
But all I can think in my head is the 4-1 that I watched live, where Holland just made Rob Holding look like
yeah.
Like, and that wasn't even a good game for Holland. Like on paper, like you look at the result and you see Holland scored, you're like, okay, all fair. But if you actually watch the game, he missed some chances. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
If not for Ramsdale, it could have been so much worse. So like, I think realistically, City's team is so damn strong. Like KDB and Holland have been playing together for a year now, so it's only probably going to go up from there. You've still got Foden knocking about. They finally worked out how to play Grealish to make him look good.
Yeah.
Mahrez is still balling out. You've got that new kid that they're playing in strike from time to time, Alvarez. Their defense is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, City, it's going to take a lot, and I mean a lot, to beat that Man City team, like with the depth they've got as well. I mean, at the moment, Newcastle are probably going to be their best competitors in money's concerned. Whether they'll bring in anyone else or enough people, because obviously the fact that they qualified for Champions League this year is huge, and that's going to be another burden on them, because they've never had that sort of added stress of Champions League, and then you've got FA Cup, EFL Cup, and the Prem to all go right. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be hard for Newcastle next year.
Weren't they in Europe a little while back? I think they were in Europe a little.
Not Champions League.
Not Champions League, but they're definitely like Europa, like for instance.
I don't remember. I could be wrong. I have no idea. You googling?
Yep, I am.
The Google man.
Europa. Europa League.
Yeah, they were. They did. When? Could have been a while ago, surely.
2012, 2013.
Oh, that's yeah. Oh, yeah, they were. That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, different time now, and all the teams have only gotten better, sort of thing. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. I mean, realistically, if you get to the quarterfinal,
they did get to the quarterfinal.
I was going to say, with the Champions League, if you get to the quarterfinal, I reckon you could, and any team who gets to the quarterfinal could realistically win it.
Yeah.
Because if you get through the group stages, round of 16, and then it's just whether you could just beat that team on the side of two legs.
Yeah, I'm genuinely like, I think that's one thing I do like about European competition. Like, I think when it gets to a certain point, I'm just like, I want a European team to win. So, like, I hope everyone that's in Europe this year does well. There's a bit of it was a very conflicting time when it was Tottenham and Liverpool at the same time
in the final.
For you to lose if that was possible, but
all players just collapse on the floor. Game over.
Do you know what? That could have been your year.
The thing,
see, I go.
Yeah,
I don't know why he did.
Yeah, because Poch should have started more over Kane, and I understand that. Yeah, if Kane's fit, you play Kane, but he wasn't fit. He wasn't fully fit.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me to say, as a Tottenham fan, that was the most boring Champions League final I have ever watched. And it's not. I'm not coming from a biased place because obviously it's my team. I've watched so many other Champions League finals and nothing really can compare to that game. It was so boring. Nothing really happened apart from like the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of the game. Nothing else happened really. Like Tottenham just did nothing, and we had such an amazing run up to that, beating City, then coming back and beating Ajax and stuff like that. We had like an amazing run coming up to the Champions League final for it to be crap.
I think it's just like the run of games leading up to that final was so good on both sides. That was. I'm pretty sure that was the season with the corner taken quickly.
Yeah, that's the same one because that game happened the night before Tottenham's Ajax game, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" And then Tottenham, it was like, "Oh, can Tottenham do the same thing?" And then, Ajax go 1-0 or I think it was 1-0 up. I think it was, and it was like, okay, well we've lost now. That's it, pain. And then it's, Lucas Moura comes out of nowhere and scores a hat-trick. Dele Ali, which got 2 assists as well for Moura. And, it was just, that game was, it's an amazing game. I mean, that City game, funny enough, the City game, the second leg, when it was like going back and forth sort of thing, I was actually at a concert watching Papa Roach at the time. And my phone was pinging off. I had people messaging me going, "Oh my god, Lewis, are you watching the game? This is unreal." And I'm just like, I'm at a concert. I'm watching the band.
Oh no.
But on a side note, have you seen the interview with Dele Ali? Because obviously I just mentioned Dele Ali getting 2 assists, and have you seen the interview with that?
I've seen some clips, but like I've actually taken the time to like sit down and watch it. But like I kind of understand the general gist of what he's talking about and that, and I was you kind of have that feeling of like, everyone. I feel like everyone, when he made that transfer, you're just like, this guy is washed, and you talk a whole bunch of crap. And I think we, as people, just naturally just tend to do that anyway. Like when we don't fully understand the situation, and then find out like go through some personal shit. Like, fun. Like,
I mean, I really do hope he does get another chance and just shine at Everton, whether even if he leaves Everton at the beginning and goes somewhere else. But I really do hope I just see him shine again, because it would be great to see Dele Ali like what he was doing at Tottenham and stuff like that. The goal against Crystal Palace and stuff like that. You're just seeing him back at his best, even if it's not playing for Tottenham, would be great. Like I had such a soft spot for Dele Ali when he was at Spurs, and I was sad to see him go. But when I watched the interview and everything, I was at work, so I was like doing my work whilst, because it's like a podcast in it, so I was just sort of listening to it whilst doing stuff. And then it was like crap. I didn't know he had all this stuff going on. It must have been incredibly hard, especially being like at that level of a professional footballer, to still have all that stuff going on. Money can help. It just shows that money doesn't always fix the problems. Like, money is a help. Yes, it lets you do all these amazing things, but it can't fix the root of the problem if there are psychological stuff and stuff like that going on.
I'd say like in Dele Ali's situation, and we've seen like a lot of different sports people that we've put this pedestal on and said like, you are like, and this is like the standard that we expect and stuff like that. When it comes to days where they're not quite like that, or periods of time where they're not quite like that, is it's so easy as a fan on the outside. It's just like, well, you're this, you're that, and you're like discarding and stuff. And then he's had a really tough time. If you actually think about it, like since leaving Spurs, and obviously I think what didn't help was Mourinho's comments about him as well.
Yeah, because he mentioned that in the interview. Funny enough, when he said Mourinho said he was lazy,
Yeah.
And that sort of stuck with him. Wherever he went, it was just like, oh yeah, he is lazy and stuff like that. And apparently, well, this is only obviously according to Dele Ali. Apparently, off camera, Mourinho went up to Dele Ali and apologised for calling him lazy because he saw him in a training session and he wasn't lazy. He's actually just working hard, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is only going by off of what Dele is saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that he was even. I didn't even know he was adopted. I didn't know he had foster parents, and I had no idea, nothing. Yeah, gang.
Gang, representing for the random. This is what I'm saying.
That's what. Yeah. I'm hoping whatever, people take the positives from that of, if they have anything similar going on, hopefully they can get the help they need and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's other stuff like people coming out and talking about people in high status talking about really human problems. I think really helps people that are currently dealing with those problems to feel more to speak about.
Yeah. On a happier note, where is Arsenal finishing in the league?
Third.
20th? Oh, third?
Third.
So you think a dead third. So do you reckon City's going to win it again? Like just off the bat, they're just going to keep winning it?
I think City will win it. I think unless something drastic happens, like a mad injury to either KDB, Edison, or Holland, I can't see them not going on and just doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you put yourself third, who do you think finishes above you then, apart from City? Who do you think finishes second? Because you obviously have an idea of, okay, we finished third. These two teams are definitely finishing above us.
I think Liverpool had a really terrible year, but I think it's very much a blip, and I can't see them repeating that again, especially as they have less games.
Yeah, I think they not got any European football this year, Liverpool.
I don't know. Where did they finish? Like 8th?
Was it 8th? I thought for some reason I had an idea. I thought they finished in Europa. Am I thinking of United? I swear they finished. No, because Chelsea finished like ridiculously low. Tottenham finished just out of.
They did finish it.
Yeah, I was going to say that because Tottenham finished 8th. Because because we finished just outside of Europe, and then Liverpool. And I thought Liverpool had European football, at least European football.
I think it's weird. The reason why I think Liverpool, I feel like, will do better this season is because even though they have Europe, they do have European football. I think they are finally committed to this move of Trent going to centre mid.
Yeah, Trent looked amazing in that England game when he went to centre mid. He just looked comfortable there. He just looked amazing. He looked like a KDB sort of player, just being able to ping balls and that sort of thing.
Everyone was always asking the question like, "Oh, could he play centre mid? It's different. X, Y, Z." And like, he could play that. Cool, problem solved. Now your midfield goes from like what it was to McAllister, who's a baller. Him, who's
James Milner's gone.
Milner's gone. You've got Hendo.
Hendo's gone.
No.
Yeah, he's going to out like one of the Saudi Arabia clubs. I don't know if it's gone official yet, but I know it's basically done. Yeah, he's going to Saudi Arabia.
I still think their team is strong enough, and I think Nunes will finally figure out how to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, I feel like Nunes who was it? There's a player, Van Nistelrooy. First season at United was terrible. Second season, he just killed it. He absolutely bossed it. So, it just shows that some players need a bit longer to get used to the league and get comfortable.
Yeah, I think, like, Liverpool's team is quite harmonious in terms of, like, they don't really tend to bring on bad eggs as well. So, I think they'll still be active in the market. I think there's definitely some more acquisitions they could do to definitely strengthen. But looking at Liverpool, potentially even looking at United, they did finish third last season, but that was because they had, like, a massive drop-off. Yeah. But there were times where Rashford was actually looking like CR7. If he manages to find that again at a more consistent level, and maybe if they find some more out of Sancho, look at maybe getting a striker in.
Yeah.
Kane. But if they look at getting a striker in, the rest of their team is so solid. Like they've still got a really good midfield. You've got Bruno, you've got Fred, you've got McTominay who plays well.
Apparently, Fred is going to be leaving as well. I heard. Well, apparently I've seen online that he's been linked with Fulham and a Saudi club. Ooh. Have you seen that? Have you seen what happened with Zaha? So
What was it?
so he was
The
supposed,
world?
yeah, so he's going to be going to a Saudi club, and then the Saudi club turned him down because he was asking for too much money.
How much did he ask for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you know how much money you have to ask for a Saudi club to go? No, sorry, no, get out.
Sar's a clown, man. We wanted to get him so long ago and just couldn't quite get to over the line. Now I'm so happy we didn't because
Yeah, his season at his season, one of his seasons reminds me of Steven Pienaar. The fact that he was at Palace and then he went to United and then the season after he went back. Because Steven Pienaar did the exact same with Everton to Tottenham, back to Everton the season after, and it wasn't a loan; it was transfer.
yeah,
So it was like why? Do you know what I mean? But
he just didn't quite make it work out for him. I don't know why it was that United quite.
because United really wanted him, they really pushed for him. So, but I don't know. It is what it is. Last note on football: Arsenal's Champions League hopes. Where do you see yourself finishing? I don't think. Obviously, I know you're probably the most non-delusional Arsenal fan I know.
True.
I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Arsenal are going to win it. No, I don't think you think like that. But where do you realistically actually see Arsenal finishing? If I mean, who knows? You might think they can win it, or you might think they finish somewhere else. I don't know.
I think the purchases that we've made have definitely covered two of the biggest scouts that we've had for a very long time, which is I don't want to see Rob Holding in an Arsenal shirt in a big game. Please. This guy has cost us so much shit. So Rob Holding's gone, and we needed someone that was better than Xhaka. You know what I mean? So Rice fixes that issue, and I think Rice will bring a more disciplined approach to the game than like what Party does. So I'm happy with that. What will that translate into? Again, I still very much heavily dependent on the draw, but I think like semis.
Yeah,
I would say semis.
I think that's respectable. I mean, like I said, I said before earlier on, I feel like if any team who can get to the quarterfinals, any of those teams can win it. Realistically, any of those teams could go on to win the Champions League if you get to the quarters, especially the semis, obviously. But you know, it's just I mean, it would be quite poetic for Arsenal. I mean, as much as I don't want it to happen, it would be quite poetic for the first time in years Arsenal have got back into the Champions League to win it off the bat. But I mean, it sounds like something out of like a dramatic show or an anime.
It does. What for nothing? Season 2.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they did another season under another thing because I quite enjoyed watching it. The Amazon Prime.
Well, it was great. Like all the things that I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Arsenal one. It was like a proper good watch sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what the football season holds ahead for us? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are stronger and a lot of teams that are weaker. Like Real Madrid's time, I feel like is starting to slow down.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to. I mean, even Barcelona, especially Barcelona. I mean, PK said, I think a few seasons ago, where he went, there will come a time where Barcelona will slow down or stop winning trophies, sort of thing. Yeah. And I think he said something like, "Oh, he just hopes he's not around by that point," as in because obviously he wants to keep winning. But it's things happen. You can't go on winning forever. It is what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, I've noticed you've got a couple of Demon Slayer posters up.
I do. Not gonna lie.
Huh?
They were £2.
Well, there you go. My displays were. I don't want to talk about it. I've got other posters around my room, but yeah, I've got got the Attack on Titan, Kuroko no Basket, and Blue Lock, and yeah, I know Shutter Island, but that's my favorite film of all time. But I mean, I feel like I know. I hope. What is your favorite anime? I feel like I know the answer, but I could get it wrong.
I promise it's not this. It's just these are the posters that were close to me at the time. It's not these. I love Demon Slayer, but it's not my favorite. But I'll say it's like
what?
Hunter x Hunter was like, or Hunter x Hunter, depending on how you said. So, yeah.
Oh,
that's my favorite.
I
didn't know.
I was gonna say I had a different one completely in my head.
What was you gonna say?
I think Naruto.
That's my favorite of all time. Nah.
No, because I know how much you love it, sort of thing.
That is true.
Like, so I just sort of, because whenever I think of you, I think of like anime. Same with like Jeremy as well. Like he loves Naruto, sort of thing. And yeah, it's like one of the biggest anime, obviously one of the biggest animes ever. So I just sort of thought, oh, yours would be Naruto, but no, I was wrong. I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah. No,
Trant.
yeah. Like the reason why Hunter x Hunter is my favorite is because it was like the first one that I had watched as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like it because they had two versions. They had the 1998 one, great year by the way, 1998 one, and then they had the revamp that came out in the early 2010s. And I watched the 1998 one, like they used to like DVDs and stuff that one of my old first friends used to like just have around the house and stuff. So I watched that, and that was like my first anime experience before like even Dragon Ball Z and stuff. So
oh wow,
yeah.
I mean my first anime experience was definitely that Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and then obviously Code Lyoko as well. I used to watch that before going to school. Banger. But funny enough, like I mean, I never saw those as anime. Like when when I was younger, I never saw because I didn't know what it was. I just thought it were cartoons, or animations, but I didn't know it was anime was an actual thing. So I always see the first proper anime I ever watched, and it is my favorite anime to this day. Is Attack on Titan. I got that quite heavily requested for me to watch as my first anime sort of thing. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll watch Attack on Titan sort of thing. Fell in love with it straight away. Then moved on to Sword Art, then Death Note, obviously a lot of the big ones, Death Note and stuff like that. And then I started to watch the more like little ones like Dress Up Darling and stuff like that, quintessential quintuplets and stuff. Like I have quite a range of what I like to watch, and I think it's great. I mean, like obviously Blue Lock, Kuroko no Basket. I love the sport ones. Love Haikyuu. Love that show so damn much.
Do you know the one thing I will say about like anime that I don't think any other medium could do? Maybe sometimes TV shows, maybe film. But like anime, I feel like has the ability to wrap you into sports that you don't even necessarily care about. Because if I asked you about like basketball before, you'd be like, yeah, like I played it, but like I ain't sitting there for a 40-minute game.
Yeah, I mean, because before that I was very much like, oh yeah, I mean, if I was asked to watch a game like by like just like we're having mates around watch a basketball game, I'd be like, yeah, all right, cool, I'll go, but I wouldn't really know what's going on. Like I had no, I've never played. The only time I've only played one 2K game. I'm not including the night we was at. I'm not including that night recently, but I'm saying that years ago when I used to. I think I was on with you, probably JR, Jord, Castle as well, like people like that. But I can't imagine. I haven't really played another one ever since, apart from that other night, and I was just picking it up. Quite, found it quite easy to pick up again. But no, I would say I've always liked basketball, but I haven't. It's not like football. I don't go out of my way to like watch a game and stuff like that. But I like the sport as a whole, sort of thing. Like I'll watch clips, I'll watch highlights and stuff like that on every now and then. It will normally just come up on my feed, and on Twitter or something, and I'll watch the highlights, some basketball highlight, and then I get sucked in, and then I start watching other basketball highlights, and I'm like, oh, it's just so cool. And then, but then since watching Kuroko, it sort of spurred that on even more, and I'm like, yeah, I could play basketball, but I can't. I could do it. I could do that. I could disappear. But no, yeah, that's one other thing of the anime as well. It makes you believe that you can do what they're doing. Sometimes you're watching it and you think, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
I'll tell you what, I'm really bad with that because this is where I redeem myself. So my favorite film, not even just anime film, just film of all time, which is this one there, which is Akira, has me in my head believing that I can do a motorcycle slide. So bike, so I can do the slide. This one, like I've fully planned it out in my head. I'm like, look, if I just like turn and I hit the brakes here, then you get here.
You're dying.
It's like
caught under the wheel or some shit.
It's not. Have you seen those things like how to fight a bear?
Oh,
it's like it's like, oh, you go back to step 2 and realize you'd already died. Like
yeah. Oh no.
Well,
yeah. I mean, I'm so glad I got into anime because my first actual, funny enough, Do you remember Michael used to go to school with? I know I'm not going to say his
Yeah.
name obviously, but Michael used to go to school with, and he actually introduced me to Death Note. But I never watched it. I never watched it after that. Like I was watching an episode with him in class, and we got about maybe 5 minutes in, so I didn't really get to see a whole lot. And then the bell went, and then we had to go and do whatever. So maybe if I watched more, maybe I would have been hooked on it a lot earlier. But I watched about 5 minutes with him, and I went about my business. I was like, oh, okay, see you. You know, so it's always been there of this thing of like what I could have potentially got into a lot, but I'm kind of glad that I got into it when I did, because I feel like if I got into it when I was younger, I would have been a menace. I would have been like I would have been horrible. I would have been like those horrible little anime kids used to, yeah, you're wrong. But you know, I would have been like those little anime kids like you see today, you know, and I would be like, yeah, no, it's not me, definitely not me.
That's mad because like I've always watched anime like when I was a kid. Like a lot of, I think when I was younger, definitely more so films than series. But like it was literally it started off by like whatever DVDs I could get my hands on. Like then it went from there to like Kicks. Kicks is the GOAT. Galactic Football, if you know, you know.
Oh yeah, Galactic, yeah, good times.
But like you know, I mean, I'll see what I can catch on TV, and then you get a bit older, you get access to the internet, and then from there it's just like
I mean, Kiss Anime.
You know, so before you get that Crunchyroll subscription, you gotta feel it out. That's anime is there for.
I remember when I made the change to Crunchyroll, and because I remember the exact time, like not date or anything, but I remember the exact, because I was watching Sword Art Online. I think it was like as it was, you know, weekly. I think it was like season 3. I think it was, and you know, a lot of cool stuff that happened and stuff like that. And they only posted half of the episode on Kiss Anime. Yeah, so it got about halfway through, and I was like, oh, Crunchyroll now. So I just downloaded it and then watched it on Crunchyroll, and I was like, okay, great. I've never gone back since. I've always been on Crunchyroll now. It's just, you know, watching other stuff like I really like Spy X Family as well.
Oh yeah.
I watched in cinema. I went on my own to watch it. Suzume.
Oh,
have you seen it? Have you
great,
seen
right?
it? Have you seen
Yeah.
it? Oh, you've seen, yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much. Bro, it was pulling at my heartstrings. I was like tearing up, and I was getting choked, and I was like, yeah, no, I loved it so much. The visuals and everything were amazing. The story was amazing. I can't wait.
Did you see Bell came out? Bell. It's another anime.
No.
Oh mate, you definitely watch after this. It's really good. Like similar kind of thing, beautiful visuals, and it's just like really gets like.
I was gonna say I've never watched anything anime like that. Like I mean, that acts like that sort of anime in cinema before. That was my first experience, and I went on my own sort of thing, because it's just like, you know what, I'm not doing anything. Go, you know. And you know, because there's no, if you keep trying to go with people and people are busy, it's never gonna happen. You know, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely loved it. Can't wait to watch more.
Vibe is like there's nothing like watching like anime films in the cinema, because you know that everyone there is like, we're here for this.
Yeah, we're all here for this sort of thing. I mean, I went into Suzume completely blind as well. I hadn't seen any trailers, nothing. All I saw was like posters and stuff, and then I was walking past. I was in Westfield, walking past View, and I was like, "Oh, it's on! Oh, it's on in like half an hour. All right, I'll go in and watch it." So it's like a spur of the moment thing. It wasn't like I planned it. I was just there, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go and watch it." And yeah, I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I got to, because it's not in cinema anymore. But I can't wait for it to go on like Crunchyroll or something like that, because obviously I want my missus to watch it, you know. I really, because I kept saying to her, let's go watch it, and she's like, oh, no, I don't want to go. But I mean, she likes anime, but you know, we'll sit down and watch the actual film together on my TV or at something like that at some point. But yeah. All right, we'll leave you all with this.
Very information.
Yeah. No, do you have a least favorite anime? Attack on Titan. No.
There's so many to choose from. I was thinking Attack on Titan. The last season into 4 parts. Like, please just finish.
Yeah, that pissed me off. But yeah, let's.
Least favorite anime. It's got to be between. Can I say 2? Or does it have to be
no,
one?
I'll give you 2.
Okay, cool. So first things first, Fairy Tail. All the Fairy Tail fans you could get me in it. That anime is pants. Like it is just like everything wrong with shonen in one space. Like
Jeremy's
they've
not going to
got
be happy.
he's got to eat that one because like it's got a fantastic concept, and you're like, yeah, I'm there. You got mages, and they all have like different magic types and stuff. Cool, but the characters themselves, I'm like, I don't like any of you.
Yeah.
I don't like the main character. Natsu's okay. Gargio's okay as well. Like they have some nice moments, but the story just feels excessively long for no reason. So Fairy Tail's definitely one, and then I'd say the second one is there's this one on Netflix called like Record of Ragnarok, and again, the reason why I hate that is because it is a fantastic concept done so wrong. Like, why does it take 5 episodes to go through one fight?
Oh, that's mad.
It's like old school. You watch Dragon Ball Z, right? It's like old Dragon Ball, not worse. Like without
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
like Goku will be about to punch man in his face. It's just like, oh yeah, cut. Sorry, wait 1 second. Let's go. It's like, no,
Flashback.
God, oh no, it's just not. Yeah, that's really bad. And you can tell like Netflix have kind of just done this because they have the money to do it. But I'm just like, this ain't their chief.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think of an anime I really don't like, but I can think of 2 animes I never didn't finish because I just couldn't get through it. One of them was an anime. I think it was called. I could be getting the name wrong. Could be called. I think it was called Guilty Crown. I think, or something like that. It was on Netflix. It was on Netflix. I watched it on Netflix, and I watched the first few episodes, and I was just like, "Ah, this is shit." I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get through it. I didn't like the visuals or anything. Just wasn't feeling it. Another one which I found out. I don't know if it's a cult, not cult, but I felt a cult favorite, or I've heard a lot of people say good things about it and stuff like that, but I couldn't get into it.
You say JoJo, I want to fight.
No. It's Kill la Kill.
Oh,
I couldn't get into it. I've heard quite a few people say, "Oh, I really like it" and stuff like that, but I just couldn't get. I was watching it and I was just like, I'm just not feeling it. Close. No, I'm done. I'm out. I'm leaving. I just can't do this. Like, I'm not with it.
Well, you can't watch it on the train. Is a massive issue with a lot of animes like that. So if you can't watch it on the train, then you have to sit home and watch it. You're watching at home and you're like, I'm not really feeling this anymore. Just watching it for the like,
I said to Harry, I was on my way to Mallorca. It's how I started watching Haiku. I said I was on my way to Mallorca, and I said to him, I'm going away for like 10 days or 2 weeks, or whatever it was. Do you have any anime recommendations, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And I said I have a few in mind, and I was like, oh, Seven Deadly Sins, Haiku, and I said some others, and he said, oh, Haiku or Seven Deadly would be good, and I said, are even them sus? And he said, no, I don't. And I was like, no, I don't think so. It's like, because I was like, I want to watch them on the plane and stuff. Or around people, so I don't have to worry. And I was like, well, okay, I'd be more. I looked at him and I went, one's a sports anime, one is Seven Deadly Sins. I'm gonna go over sports anime because I think that would be less sus. And I went with. I'm glad I did because I haven't seen Seven Deadly Sins since. But yeah, I've heard some things about it. But I watched it and I just fell in love with it straight away. And I was like, yeah, this is great. We played volleyball out there in Mallorca when I was watching it and stuff. Beach volleyball, and I was trying to do the jump spikes and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. I just absolutely love it, but I couldn't get into Kill la Kill. It just wasn't for me.
I don't understand the hype around it, if I'm honest. Like, I understand some of the stuff, like the colors are great, but like it's scissors, fam. It's like I don't care that much. Like it's scissors. It's not. It's a revolutionary thing. Like it's not that culture. But definitely go back and watch Seven Deadly Sins. Though. It's not something.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch. I mean, like it's been on my list for ages. I have an anime list. It's just something I just I'm never gonna get through. But it's there. Thanks for coming on, Jordan. I really appreciate it. If you want to keep updated with what he's doing, there will be descriptions or anything like that down below, so you can go follow him. Not in person, please don't do that.
I say that. Like now, I'm just gonna be.
I'm gonna ping your location every day, going, "Oh, he's here, guys, go and get him."
Oh my god! Sorry. This is a story I have to say now.
Oh no, go on. No, go on. Little a PS.
So, I've never used an AirTag before, and I didn't actually know to the extent of what they track stuff, right? So I was on a shoot literally a couple of days ago, and I was camera assistant for that. First, I was just gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ping your location every day, going, "Oh, he's here, go, hey, go and get him." Oh my god! Sorry. This is the story I have to say now.
Oh no, go on. No, go on. A little PS.
So, I've never used an AirTag before, and I didn't actually know to the extent of what they track stuff, right? So I was on a shoot literally a couple of days ago, and I was camera assistant for that. First, And boom, I'm carrying the bag. Basically, I had to carry the bag because there wasn't enough space in the car, and we needs to go to the next location the next day. So I took the bag back with me home. I was like halfway back, right? And I get a notification on my phone and I check. I'm like, what the fuck? It says you're being tracked. You've got an AirTag on you and you're being tracked. And I freaked the fuck out. I was on the bus, like, who's tracking me? Someone slipped something into my pocket. I was literally like going through all my pockets, and I was wearing like my field trousers, right? I have like a couple pockets on the side. So I'm like, wait, what the like I'm checking all the pockets. I'm like, there's no AirTag here. What's happening? And I'm checking the thing, and the app is telling me exactly where I was. And I'm like, I've got loads of expensive stuff for me right now. This is not the time for me to be getting tracked. And then I found out it was like the production's air tags, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, fine. But I didn't know at the time I was getting scored.
All right.
Jeez. Yeah, well, you know. Yeah. Don't use air tags, kids.
Stay safe, kids. Do you have, I mean, I have one, but I'll say mine after yours. Do you have an ending quote? Or favorite. I know you mentioned a favorite quote again. Your favorite quote, or did you want to say that again?
Ending quote. Yeah, just the James Baldwin one again. I think just like nothing that isn't faced can be changed, and nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin.
And my favorite quote, which has always been one of my favorite quotes. I have two favorite quotes, but we'll leave you. Fuck it, I'll say both of them.
Say both. Yeah, right.
One of them is seize the day or die regretting the time you lost.
Oof.
And the other is life wouldn't be so precious, dear, if there never was an end.
Ooh.
And they are both Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, boo.
Hey. But yeah.
No, Jake, I can't say that. I've listened to a few Avenged Sevenfold tracks. So
yeah. If you enjoyed, obviously, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. And yeah, we will see you next week. Whenever this goes out. It'll be every Tuesday. I'm going to try and do every Tuesday. So yeah. See you then.